Want to talk about this episode?
Yee.
Yeah,
I this actually has got to be one of my favorite episodes in a long time.
I think so too, genuinely. Like
Uh,
it felt like
yeah,
so
definitely.
much happened. Like
Yeah,
like the pacing just there was the next thing, and like nothing felt like a distraction.
mm,
Like all of it felt like relevant and pertinent to the continuation of the story, and it just kept building on itself.
yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
yeah. I love the whole thing with like one little tiny exception.
is it going
Ooh, I
to
want to
be?
start with your niggle.
Is it going to be the exception that we probably all have to this episode?
Oh, I'm interested to hear what your
Maybe I don't. Yeah,
exceptions
I want to hear what you think because
Ah,
uh, I'll just say it. It's the Bela story.
oh, okay. No, that wasn't mine.
I didn't hate that.
It just feels really tropey, it's like if you're gonna like cut this cool story to make a new story, make it cooler than this. But
Yeah.
I
we can talk
I
about that when we get to it.
I can deal with that because I can't remember if we actually met Lady Aaron last season. I think we talked about
Yeah.
how cool she was, and I don't know if we ever like really had a proper scene with her. Um, I need to again. I really do need to go back and rewatch the first two seasons and kind of make sure I'm not missing anything. Because there was a couple of again characters that popped up that I'm like, oh, they have a significance, but I can't remember what their significance is. But I can remember kind of missing more scenes with Lady Aaron because I can remember her being really cool
Mm,
and like it's like which is weird because again I've not read the books, so I'm not like the Blood and Fire books, so I'm not like too knowledgeable about it. But I remember being really excited to meet this cool character, and then not really getting enough time with her. So having another scene with her was not a bad thing. And
mm,
the
Yeah.
one thing I like about that scene is that I think it sets up for Baylor to become Nettled,
yeah,
and
definitely.
that
Yeah.
she,
Yeah.
yeah, she's gonna cut all her hair off and take the name Nettles, which means that you can
Uh-huh.
have like, as in, I think she's literally going to change her name, and so that when the next person who's looking for a character or she introduces herself to a third party, she's gonna call herself Nettles
Mm,
because of
Yeah.
taking the dragon sheep stealer. Like she's going to take on like a kind of rustic element, and I can see like from the fan art I've seen of Nettles, I can see Bella just cutting all her braids off.
hmm.
um and then you can have so much of the kind of plot line that you have with Damon and Nettles
Yeah.
because it's
Yeah.
this kind of surprise child type situation. So I like
They could take it that direction
I
for
think
sure. I mean, I
that's
think
what
they
it feels
will
like to
they
me.
will definitely bring her to Damon. They're gonna intersect for sure.
Yeah.
How far
Yeah,
they go with it
like
is another
they've already
question.
got Damon being sent after the mystery rider on the wild dragon,
Yeah.
and like again, I'm really excited to see Damon react to Baylor being the rider, particularly as Damon's had that reaction of no, like wild dragons can't be tamed, and as
Mm,
a massive dragon nerd that he is, like the fact that his daughter, who he was interested in and kind of has forgotten about, is the one to do this impossible dragon thing.
mm,
I can see him finding that super impressive and and then being surprised that this person that he's going off to go kill uh,
mm.
to avenge
Yeah.
Rhaenyra is Baela. I not Baela, Rhaena.
Raina.
Right.
I said
Yeah.
it wrong first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. Yeah.
These
My
Yeah.
bad.
names. Like I feel like we need like a bingo every time during this podcast we say someone's name wrong.
Mm,
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I feel like that for me, that setup of like weaving those character types back in,
mm,
I that to me is good. Like that's when like that's storytelling pixel pieces to me, and I find that really satisfying. Like if I was a DM and I was writing like so one player character had a sibling in the background and one character had a villain who did something. And like weaving those two characters together so that the PCs can then have that reaction,
hmm.
that's the kind of juicy little storytelling beats that are just so like satisfying. Um, and I feel like that's like that to me feels like again and as someone who hasn't read the book, I'm not a purist to the book, but that like level of like twisting the story just slightly, but then slotting it back in a slightly different position is really satisfying to me. So I don't know if that's where they're going to go, but if they do, I find that like a good weaving back into the original subtext, the original story, particularly as then you can bring in the kind of Damon Nettle story. So yeah, I liked it. I want to know what exactly you didn't like about it.
I think it has potential. I just think it's like tropey to have the plot line of she, didn't know she accidentally killed Jace got Jace killed, and now is running away, and it's all just basically misunderstanding. I just don't enjoy when when it comes down to a story comes down to just it's a misunderstanding. I get that's the whole thing with Viserys naming it's talking about Aegon on his deathbed, so that's another. While I think that was done well, I think this is just I don't know, just a little.
I can see how you feel. Like I can see.
I think it has potential, but just as of now, I'm not sold.
Yeah, I can see what you mean. Like there's a level of fatalistic doom when you make scenarios happen because of like continual spells of unfortunate events. Like that, I can understand that kind of like a sense of like that dull dread you get when plots seem to just be caused by a series of unfortunate events. And I can see how that can feel like because I think Jace's death, particularly the way it was presented at the end of last episode, just felt like such like a misery gut punch. And then to add on top of that the fact that it was was Rhaenyra, and it was a misunderstanding, and it was this like just bad, like the bad luck on top of bad luck on top of bad luck. I can understand how that can feel just kind of just depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can understand that emotion, but in terms of storytelling, I didn't hate it. I really didn't hate it. And I did like the fact that Elise Lady Aaron was very like
yeah, she's cool.
The idea of like kind of passive empathy, the idea that she is like the best thing that she can do is say, okay, like I survive on your own, mate.
Yeah.
See, I did. I got that she was horrible. Like
Really?
Yeah.
I was like, I mean, what else? Like,
I mean, what would you do? Like,
what would you do
if
someone was trying, like, someone like you've got a Queen of the Seven Kingdoms with dragons, the most powerful person, one person who can threaten your homestead, and the person responsible for the death of their child comes and claims amnesty. I don't know what I do. I think like the best thing I can do is say, yeah, teenager, you kind of fucked up. You're on your own, but I'll willingly just let you be here. Like I'll give you my blindness. I think that it's
basic, yeah,
the most logical thing
for.
I could do. Like that's she's not saying you've got to leave, and she's not
you
saying
can't. Yeah, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know how like what other option do you have? Like and in a way, like she's a teenager who's fucked up. Like there has to be real like you can't
teenager
take her in and go
like,
with a rabid dog.
Nuke.
Yeah, but she was always a bit of a wet fish, wasn't she? Even back in the last season.
Yeah, there's a difference between a bit of a wet fish who's a bit annoying and someone who's adopted a rabid dog, and the rabid dog has killed someone and then comes back home and be like, I'm just a poor little, like, you can't have it both ways with her. I think Lady Aaron made the best choice she could, and I think she was relatively diplomatic with it, and it's yeah. I mean, again, I didn't hate it from a storytelling perspective. It felt like a lot of things weaving together nicely to me, but I also get how like I wasn't looking forward to this episode. I'll be entirely honest.
Okay.
The way that the last episode ended, and having watched the Knight of Seven Kingdoms. Like, I was dreading this episode because of the way the last episode, it was that kind of fatalistic pit in the stomach.
Yeah.
It's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse, and everything's going to go horribly wrong, and everyone's going to die. And you know that's going to happen because you are watching this kind of
Prequel,
Greek
yeah.
tragedy situation. But that was one of those scenes that didn't add to that feeling of dread. And then when I was watching it, obviously I enjoyed it during the process, and as I said, it's one of my favorite episodes of the season, if not my favorite episode so far of the series. But I do understand that emotional, like, gut punch.
Yeah.
But yeah, sorry, I feel like I'm talking way too much. But
No,
yeah, I didn't hate it, but I do get why you feel like that, Max.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just overly attached to the Fire and Blood version of the story. But other than that, this is my only complaint about the episode. I think, like, I thought the writing of this episode was pretty great overall.
And a lot of
What
stuff.
was your niggle? Was your niggle the same thing? Or was
No,
it...
I thought we would all be jumping on this niggle at the same time. It's the rape scene with Iron Rod.
Yeah.
Alicent just living in the worst fucking timeline for her. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. Like, to me, I felt that scene just didn't really need to be there. It was weird and creepy. And...
It felt very Game of Thrones, like early
Yes.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
It's like, and then when I saw that, I'm like, this doesn't feel like a House of the Dragon thing.
It
so
felt
much,
very
but...
Game of Thrones in like the era of the unnecessary Jaime Cersei rape and the era. Like, I again, this part, like, I'm like, I forgot who Iron Rod was. I need to go back and rewatch the first because I was like, what?
Yeah, because I saw him. I'm like, was he the guy she was talking to earlier in the episode? And no, it wasn't. It was another guy that looked similar to him.
Yeah.
You'll see at the end with the gold cloaks. But I'm like, was that him? And I was like, no, this is a guy we saw last season that she like argued with all the time in the council.
Yeah, I feel like they're almost like the level of kind of punishment they're putting through on Alicent so far this season. Like, are they trying to like redeem her through like just pure visceral like torture? Like, it just seems so unnecessarily mean-spirited.
Yeah.
Like the treatment of Alicent this season. Like, she's had a horrible time, and that's never been a secret that she's had a horrible time in her love and in her romance and kind of keeping of the patriarchy. But it's been very clear she's never had any choice. And so to really just kind of worst timeline doom torture her is just, it does feel icky.
Yeah.
Not in a story satisfying way, because again, I don't know why. I don't know why Iron Rod's doing that.
Yeah, he doesn't have the like.
It's not like political machinations. It's not like he can like.
He's got no motivation as a character to do that anyway. It's purely like, let's hurt Alicent for a bit because.
What did it get him in the long run? Like, if he actually managed to succeed in like without being caught. Like,
yeah, what did he get out of it?
It didn't really. It made no logical sense.
Like, no. The only argument.
You're right. I just like didn't think about it too much because the scene moved on so quickly from there that I just sort of forgot about it. So thanks for.
The only argument that I can think of for it is because this show has discussed so much like feminine issues, particularly feminine issues regarding power and patriarchy. To throw the concept of like hysteria into the scenario, so someone who is bound by the patriarchy then being further abused by the patriarchy, and then having her kind of justified horror and kind of awakening to the situation she's in then be continuously belittled and hidden by the argument of insanity. And so the only reason why I can think to somewhat justify this sequence is because his argument upon her being discovered is that he's like, she's got mad, and the fact that she's wielding her power in the way that she is to let Rhaenyra in, against the wishes of her male, kind of her sons in this case. It could be perceived as her going hysterical, that she's gone woman mad, and she's like I kind of feel like they could be playing into that for future subjects, and they kind of can't remember what they mentioned madness multiple times in relation to Alicent this episode. So they said Helena said they'll think you've gone mad. Then there was something in this sequence, I can't remember exactly what he was like. I feel like they're setting up a conversation about that, and I think it's interesting that obviously one who is psychologically broken in this episode is Rhaenyra, who is holding it together with such a tiny thread of sanity to get where she's got, and yet Alicent is the one who is having people call her mad, and the fact that Helena is the one who's saying that they'll think you're mad is kind of strange irony, because she's the one who is kind of, you know, a little bit off. And I think it also comes in, so when she meets with Helena in the garden, she says this flower's not in season, it's too early.
Yeah.
And that's the same flower that was compared to Alicent in season 1 or 2 with Laris, where he compared Alicent to this bush that's not meant to be blooming or thriving in King's Landing. It's not meant to be, but it is. And so either because Helena is always metaphors and allegory, like the idea that maybe Alicent made her move too early or too late, or that maybe this is her one time to bloom, like this, her one time to do the correct thing was to do this, and then the buds die. Like this was her last, this was her flower bloomed too early in the season, it's not the right season, and then all the petals will fall off. And I wouldn't be shocked if later in the season, when shit's hit the fan, Alicent, which it seems like it very much will, that there will be a shot of the garden with all the leaves, all the petals just scattered along the courtyard, that sort of a thing. But yeah, and Helena's just a sweet bean. And I found it interesting also, like obviously because Alicent's making her move, she's using Helena as the figurehead.
Yeah.
Like,
well, yeah, that's
she's
a lever of
forcing
power.
Helena into a position of power, which I wouldn't be shocked if, like, obviously Helena in the books, it's already dead at this point, or I'll be interested to see how that falls out into Helena's next part of her story, being put into a position where she's having to make commands, and then how that kind of works off with the brothers.
Yeah.
Yeah, it did feel really just gross. Yeah, I wrote Alicent is in a fucking nightmare.
Yes. Well, she was in a nightmare since fucking day one, really.
Yeah, like it's actually like that is the cherry on the fucking cupcake of her life. Like the fact that she's had so much sexual violence in her life without it being violent. And then just to have it be violent at this point is just it's so unnecessary. Again, I kind of need to go back and see whether or not there's any hints as to whether or not there was any foreshadowing within the character to make him make that action, because it seems so illogical, other than to kind of just what would you do with that?
Yeah.
Well, when Orwell and the guards came in, he tried to make it seem that she was going mad or whatever.
Yeah.
And I think he really thought, a part of him really thought that he could get away with it, but luckily Orwell was.
I mean, God bless Orwell. Like honestly, Orwell is.
Orwell goes through shit this episode too, but he.
Yeah, I'm really just. It's so nice to have a morally nice character. Like one to be like, yeah, this is fucked up. You probably messed up right now, but like you don't deserve that.
I see the thing. Maybe this scene had a point, because it demonstrated that, or where Orwell's allegiance comes from, because he who has he helped secretively? He's helped Aegon get out of King's Landing. Did he help Rhaenyra connect with Alicent, or Alicent
For a
connect
while.
with Rhaenyra? Yeah, or did she go to
I
someone
think
else?
Orwell helped with Alicent connecting with Rhaenyra, but didn't help with Aegon escaping. I think that's what we said last episode. Again, I need to rewatch.
Yeah, against Laris,
That's it.
because
Yep, yep, yep.
Aemond accused Orwell, but it was Laris.
So, it's nice to have Orwell who seems to just be kind of on the side of again, I'll be very upset if this is not true, but having just on the side of basic decency.
Yeah.
And I can't think of another character in Game of Thrones that like Ned was good, but he was good in a very
Stupid way.
moralistic, noble way. And Orwell so far just seems to be just basically decent. He wants peace. He wants he wanted Viserys to not suffer.
Yeah, he's on the side of peace, really, because he knows.
The moment he sees someone being clearly attacked in their chambers and screaming for help, he's like, "No, you're a fucking rapist."
What did Iron Rod try and threaten him with? What he said? Seems we have a traitor on our hands. Need to be confined to make no further trouble. Ask her where she was an hour ago. Oh yeah, and he goes, I know not where she may have been, but I know what I've seen here with my own eyes. So I don't know. This is probably
We've talked a lot in this series about how it's kind of unnecessarily grim and dark. And I feel like having Orwell as a voice, it's not, you don't necessarily need humor, although there was a small hint of humor in this episode that I did appreciate. But you don't necessarily need humor, but having some common niceness.
Lightness,
having at least one decent voice that survived the end of the episode it's just pleasant. It feels like it doesn't take away from the overall tone, but just lifts it a little bit. To know, you don't the thing with war and all of this sort of stuff that's the misery of this series is you don't want to get to the point where you think that it's not worth anyone surviving at the end. You want to be able to think if when all things are resolved, there will be still some people. You don't want to just watch it all burn.
I mean, I think we do kind of see it all burn though over the course. Isn't that what the Dance of Dragons kind of is?
We do, but that's the characters that we're going to see die, and the characters that we're potentially going to see burn their dues. But they're kind of I don't know if anyone explained it both very well. Okay, so again, this will be the second episode I brought up a zombie metaphor, but in the Resident Evil games and the Resident Evil first couple of Mila Jovovich films, it's a very isolated incident, and so the world itself is not doomed. And so you have the hope that you have to defeat the evil. The evil's got to happen. You want to defeat the evil, but then life will carry on afterwards. But then in the later films, they wipe out the entire planet. So what's the point of hoping? There is literally no one left. There is no life left. What is even the point? Yeah. You have no emotional investment in the continuation of the world. And I feel like characters like Orwell in this series are needed so that you have faith that even if all the primary characters go, if they burn, if they die, giant tragic events can happen, but at least the world itself can carry on.
Yeah.
And it's a type of hope.
I mean, interestingly enough, I think Orwell is is Orwell the Varys of House of the Dragon? He's on the side of peace, I guess.
He's supposedly on the side of the small folk.
I don't know if he's on the side of the small folk, but he's on the side of not burning everything down, or the side of common
Yeah.
decency, I guess.
Yeah,
I
common
think
decency.
yeah.
And he practices what he preaches. He's not preachy with it. He just does decent things.
Yeah, but if he's preachy, he dies. Yeah, see. This
Exactly.
is why I kind of get Varys vibes a little bit from him, because he's a mover. Like he knows the system. He knows how to stay alive in the system, and he knows how to survive, and he knows how to. But like also, he's in that position where he's also not really ambitious either. Like Varys was more ambitious. I think all while just he has the he has the character of a maester because he's a maester, like. But he still maneuvers the halls of power, just in a more humble way, I guess. But he's still clever. Like it's kind of hard because it's like he's clever, but he's not as ambitious. Although then you got to think, well, he is Grand Maester, so he couldn't have been completely without ambition, right?
And I'll be interested to see how much. So there's obviously a academic ambition that you can have without being egotistical. Like I think he wants like particularly his maester, obviously the different chains. Like he wants to learn to heal. He wants to learn to help. And that drive can be present without there being ego. And I feel like he's one of the characters that has a spine without having a huge like ego that overshadows it. I don't know. I just for a very minor character, I
don't know. He's not that minor if you think about it.
Oh well, he's not.
He wrote. He's a source for Fire and Blood, so we know he survives.
Yeah.
We know he survives in theory. But yeah, I just like how many characters in the entire summation whole world have come into a act of violence like we saw with Alicent, and it literally was like just no. And I really like that. I really needed that.
Yeah, good. Okay,
particularly after that scene.
Yeah, but I mean, overall, I felt that the scene was like early Game of Thrones, and I didn't entirely like it because, well, for a minute there, it was almost like Alicent was having a moment of genuine agency, and then they sort of took that away from her as well. Like she was like, "Oh,
I'm that as well." Like the ending of this episode.
The ending.
Like, I feel like there's just the amount of kicking of Alicent this episode.
Oh yeah.
To then have it like, she's finally got pretty much everything. She didn't manage to escape, and then to walk in on her dad, just like literally Rhaenyra walking in the blood of her father. Ooh.
Yeah. That was such a well done scene, all of it.
Yeah.
So when I was watching this with Rosie, I knew what happened to Otto well before it happened. I called this one totally out.
I called that. I called that as well. As soon as they were like, and a gift from Laris, I was like, oh, it's gonna be Otto.
It's Otto. So
yeah.
So this is the bit.
I remember his name. I wrote Alicent.
Yeah, it took me a while to remember.
I was like, it begins with an O, I swear.
Okay, so I've heard people say, "Oh, that's just lazy writing. They've just something sneaky's happened. They've just given it to Laris because he's the sneaky one, right?" But I reckon this is actually sorry.
It's been established for a while, hasn't it? I feel like there was a lot of clues last season about what happened to Otto.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Like, I think this was genius because here's the thing, right? If you're Laris and you are the little finger of this particular series, right? So you're going to want a contingency plan. If you're going to want to switch sides, you're going to want to have something to get you across, bridge the gap, so to speak. So Laris at the moment he has to assume that people know that he helped Aegon escape. So he is kind of allied with Team Green, Alicent, Aegon. He knows that he's not going to get anywhere with Aemond. So a little bit from his point of view is he is safest when people that are opposing Aemond are winning. whether or not that's
Mhm.
Aegon, whether or not that's Alicent, or whether or not that's Rhaenyra. But if you are in a conflict with two sides and you are currently working on one side, and that side starts losing, you're going to want a contingency plan to be able to switch to the winning side. Keeping Otto just in a tower for that long as I can deploy this at any moment, and um and treat it as a gift to get to endear myself to Rhaenyra, and also
Daemon.
and Daemon, like bang, that is a key. That is an excellent contingency you got there. It's typical playing both sides.
I feel like it's the smartest move we've seen from Laris. Like, it was one of those things that since the foot scene, we've been like, what is his game? Like, he claims to be, like, he seems so smart and so, like, politically savvy, and what he wants his feet. And it kind of, it redeems him for the kind of seemingly silliness.
Actually, the foot scene was kind of ridiculous as well. It didn't
It was
need.
ridiculous. Yeah, it was ridiculous and silly, and kind of, again, just weirdly objectifying Alicent because she's submitted to the patriarchy. But in terms of Laris's development, it felt just kind of like what are you like? I can remember all of us at the time discussing it and being like, what is the political like is this the smartest thing you are doing right now? Is you want feet?
Yeah.
Like, what is it you like? How is this savvy? But like having Otto as a playing card, the animosity between Daemon and Otto, the fact that like Otto was the kind of signifying factor in Daemon falling out with Viserys.
Yeah.
And like the niggle, and the fact that Otto was also the factor in Alicent marrying Viserys as well, like that constant, like that thorn in the uncle wife pairing for so long, to have that as a play, the fact that like Daemon just laughed, like we I definitely had it's gonna be Otto, and then he laughed and I was like, yes, it's Otto. It's a good play. It's a really, really good play.
And I found it believable. I found it to be something in character, this one.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the fact that he was also like, he was still Otto. Like, he'd been in prison for so long, and he's still just kind of a bit of a butt. Like, the fact that like he's a misogynist to the end. The fact that he said something along the lines of like, oh, let Daemon do it. I don't want to be hacked. Like, I don't want to like suffer through multiple strokes or whatever.
Well, she did it in 2. That's pretty good going, if you ask me.
She did it in 2, and like part of like the first strike, I'm like, she was like not only wide of the neck, she was like, I don't think she struck with full force. I think that was kind of I don't know how much of that was intentional, as I don't even like, I want to cause you pain at that point, or whether or not it was just she genuinely missed. But like the fact that he like even at that point, he's like, let a man do it, woman.
I think I mean, honestly, she probably just missed because she was distressed.
Yeah, she was holding it on by a thread the entire episode.
Oh, that
like,
felt so tense.
The acting throughout, like I'm like the first scene.
Oh my god!
Like,
okay, yeah, like
acting top fucking notch. Like her posture this entire episode, like she's like weighed down. Like the way that she was like hunching and walking, like just the physical performance.
Oh, I'll tell you what,
amazing.
My heart was torn in two with the scene with her and Jace. To be honest, that scene felt like it went on forever, but not in a bad way. In a way that was just like, I can't stand to watch something. It was so sad, and it felt brutal. It felt so like, oh, man, like it broke me, that scene. Like that was I think that might have been the genuinely saddest scene I've seen in anything Game of Thrones.
Oh, I mean, the miscarriage of the daughter was pretty brutal.
Yeah, but this was more like on a like an emotional level.
Characters, yeah, and like the fact that like. The constant argument is that women are emotional. The fact that she's able in even in that point where like grief has like completely and utterly destroyed her, she's still able to form a rational argument about like what good would your death do right now? Like what will that bring him back? Like oh, it's just it was so good.
I don't. Yeah,
So
see,
good.
I don't know what I do with. What's his name? It's not Duskendale or something, is it? It's
I did look it up last episode. Like, yeah, well, she makes the decision by the end because Damon whispers in her ear, and says, let him choose his own death.
Yeah.
Even though she knows that won't do anything.
She doesn't.
Like,
yeah, she barely cares. Like,
well, I think she does care, but like she's like the one thread holding her together is the Song of Ice and Fire.
Oh, this episode.
And I'll say.
I just got to say, this episode got 9.4 out of 10 on IMDb. That's
like my thing that I didn't like particularly, which I think is a similar emotion to Max's emotion about the whole nettled or not to nettle scene, is the concept that the one thing holding Rhaenyra aloft is the Song of Ice and Fire. And Daemon whispering Valyrian into her ear about his vision in Harrenhal, which, because of Game of Thrones, we know to be a faulty prophecy. And that, to me, was more of a gut punch. The idea that all of this is happening for what is, from what we understand, to be a faulty prophecy.
Yeah.
Like, that to me it's a combination of both storytellingly juicy, but also like so heartbreaking. The fact that all of this is because of a prophecy written on a dagger that is not true because of the content of Game of Thrones.
Is it Roderick Dustin?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to find like a picture of him. Yeah, well, I mean,
I thought Dustin was. I think Dustin was one of the Kingsguard that was loyal to Alicent.
Right. Okay.
Wasn't he the one who
Brand?
was like? I'd have to look it up.
Largent.
Largent.
Okay. Well, she was like, what's it all for? Now that everyone's dying, what's the point? What's it all for?
What's the point?
Oh man, I don't.
It was devastating.
It was.
So good.
Oh man, like
the fact that the episode begun with the same shot as the end of the first episode to just really hammer home just the weight of the death, and the fact that it took me a moment to work out exactly where in the scene it was because there were 3 dragons. It kind of started with like a soft flashback to the end of last episode. That had Sheep Stealer and Moon Dancer and whatever the name of, because I had to rewatch the first sequence because I was like, one sec, is this 3 new dragons investigating the gullet? But no, it was just like a direct cut back to that exact moment.
Yeah, I see. So I keep thinking what I would have done with, was it Largent?
Largent? Yeah, I just said he's so fucked in my notes. I'm not kidding. That's what I wrote.
Like she's rightfully pissed off that she was locked in. I don't see, like, I flitter from like what I think I'd do in that situation. I honestly don't know. There's a part of me that would be like, my God, you locked up the fucking queen. You have to have your head cut off. Like, fuck's sake. But also, he's obviously not going to make that mistake again. It wasn't a question of loyalty. He was conflicted and made a mistake.
Yeah.
See,
well,
so
again, like he had that, like you have that scene. Like, I think that it's almost punishment enough just to see the consequences of his decision to stand with Jace is that Jace dies, and that Alicent, it's almost enough punishment. But obviously, she then says, let him choose how he wants to die. So the decision has been made. It just took, a bit of depression.
I would say, because, like, so when they storm King's Landing, if storm is the right word, Daemon basically, there's a tiny force. Take him along.
I mean,
he can be the vanguard for that particular thing. Because,
Oh, I don't
super,
think she would though. Like, if you've just gone through that, you're not taking him along. Not a fucking chance. The trust is broken. Like,
is
like,
the
and what would he do? Come on the dragon? Like,
I guess, I mean,
because they obviously raided from the roof.
yeah.
No, I could never trust him again. Like the only best solution for that character, other than death, would be send him to the wall.
So you wouldn't bring him
Like,
back into the Queen's Guard? You wouldn't?
I wouldn't. No. Like, if I was Rhaenyra and that guy had been responsible for locking me in my room while my son died, the trust is gone.
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't. I would
Not.
give him the
I
option
would
of
not
choosing
have
his
him
death.
stood in front of me or behind me. Not a chance.
Off to the wall, I guess.
Yeah, to the wall, like, in
Best case
disgrace.
scenario.
And like that's the best outcome. Like, the fact that she killed him, I was like, yeah, fine. Yeah, he gets to choose his death. I mean, like, he offered it up. Like,
Yeah.
the wall would be the only thing that I'd be able to offer him. And like, the wall is an option. Like he's he's Kingsguard. He's got to be a good fighter, and he can spend the rest of his life living out that guilt. But like that would be the only solution other than execution for him. I couldn't trust him. I just couldn't. Like, the fact that he's willing to lock me in my room? No.
He was doing it under order.
For a Queen's Guard.
Yeah, I mean, guess so. Yeah.
Doing it under orders from this, like in insubordination. I mean,
Yeah, from a child.
Yeah, he should.
Yeah. There must be, like, with the best will in the world, like, and I don't think, again, this is not something that the character would have necessarily even the language to comprehend. There's definitely some internalized misogyny there, that he sides with the child instead of siding. And again, like, there's other factors in it. It's not just that she's a woman. It is that she's the figurehead. But he did choose to side with the teenage boy.
Yeah,
and there were consequences.
It's yeah, I get it. I mean, the thing is, as well, is like the chain of command is pretty well established. Yeah. So
like, you don't put a crown on a queen's head and then listen to the prince.
Yeah.
Against her wishes, like that's like if you did that with any ruling king, you wouldn't lock a king in his bedroom.
Yeah, that wouldn't be the case if it's Aegon's out there fighting, Aemon's out there fighting. Like, it's a little like we must protect the women that have the dragon.
Yep.
Yeah, and also like she is doing it for the future of her house, right? Like, if the future of her house, like, yeah,
if she had died and then Jace was still, like, Jace is the heir. Like, obviously you want the figurehead to survive, right? If she had died, then Jace would have then become. That's what the line of succession is.
Yeah.
You don't, particularly when you've lost one of the spares.
Yeah.
You don't send the heir. But yeah, bless him. Like, I wonder if his death will be kept off screen, because she basically treated his death as a throwaway line while going to claim the throne. But yeah, I could not trust a man who was sworn to protect me and then locked me in my bedroom. Just no. Flat no.
No. Yeah. Well. Yeah. I really enjoyed the storming. So yeah. So they there's lots of fire going on.
Lots of fire. Yeah, I did also note great fire stunts. I think that was predominantly for the Vega and Aemond.
This is the Harrenhal one.
Scene,
yeah,
the Harrenhal scene. Like, I literally wrote great fire stunts because they had fun times. I do like the fact that Aemond is like a cool badass, but he's like, when you compare him to Daemon, I think slightly awkwardness to him. He just looks slightly.
He wants to be a badass so bad, but he's like, and he is kind of, but like
quite fair. It's really funny. There's something about it that's just he's so like it makes me think about the scene in, I think, season 1 where he's doing like the fight sequence in the yard and showing off. And he's very skilled, but he's just not quite there. He doesn't quite have the genuine self-assurance that Daemon has. Daemon has like full, like he's good on the field and he knows it, and it's fully like he doesn't need to prove anything to anyone. He knows it. Well, Aemond is just a little bit like he it feels like he's expecting someone in the background to be like, yes, good job, sir, good job.
He's just got a slight awkwardness to him.
He's just it's so subtle, but it's tangible to see during that fight sequence. Like he's kicking ass, he's taking names, he gets stabbed in the ribs, but like it's slightly like he's putting on a pretense of it. And like there's a lot of scenes there's lots of terms in this episode. There's a lot of the term satisfaction used.
Oh yeah,
regarding both him and Daemon. So in the scene in Harrenhal, they say, "Can we find something else to satisfy you? I don't have a sword." And then the way of satisfying him is he's like Lord Strong is literally saying, "There's no way to stop you," and then getting gutted. And so like you have that with him, but then you also have the prison guards saying, no, it's not. It's Otto, Orlo saying maybe there's another way to get you satisfaction, and sending him down to the prison cell and finding Otto. And then I think there's another person who says, I think it might be Otto himself, says something about satisfaction. And so the idea that these guys are kind of there, what it takes to make them feel satisfied. And that kind of theme between those, like the character themes between Daemon and Aemond are prolific. They're continuous. But I liked those two sequences back to back, with Aemond being just slightly awkward while Daemon completely and utterly owning the field. He completely owned the entire. Like he was taking out green Kingsguard and green knights, whatever. Red Keep guards, left, right, and centre, not even blinking. Like the fact that the King's Guard and their mini army turned up, and he was literally just like, "Get behind me, Rhaenyra, I've got this." Before the Gold Cloaks turned up, versus just the ever so slight. It's so subtle. It's so hard to define. It's a really good character pairing, and I find it very satisfying. Also, Grandma Gecko was having a lot of fun. Like Vhagar was just like, woo.
Also, I did notice a similarity between the scenes where he's just basically storming in on Simon Strong as they're having dinner.
Yeah, very similar to the last season with Daemon.
But the scene, of course, ends very differently.
Yeah,
he just
definitely.
doesn't.
Again, that's also like the self-confidence. Like Daemon has the self-confidence to sit down and be like, "Yeah, I'll have some of your whatever you're eating. Let's chat." And Aegon's like, "Gut stab? You want a gut stab? Because I have low self-esteem."
Yeah, I think he confuses like ruthlessness for strength, I guess, doesn't he?
Yeah, which again is a sign of the whole upbringing of their generation.
Yeah, his eye actually looks a little bit more sensible than the last time we saw it. I think it was in season 1.
The lighting's better. I think the lighting's better, and also that reveal was a bit more natural than in season 1 or 2, where it was very like, and here's the reveal of the eye.
Yeah, and it looked like he just jammed a fucking what's
in his eye socket.
Yeah. What's the blue one's called? Sapphire? Yeah.
I think it is meant to be a sapphire, but I feel like in the original reveal it kind of looked more like some sort of like lesser stone. I don't know.
But there he looks like he's actually got a proper glass eye or something, which so he looks a little bit less like a idiot.
Talking of sapphires though, bring it round to the end of that scene and then bring it back to the earlier scene with Alice. The fact that she said the line, "You can't eat rubies," talking about, again, very similar to the conversation of the Dragon Seed riders, talking about how you can't live in a name, you can't live in a title, saying you can't eat rubies. and then she presumably is going to rescue the guy with the sapphire in his eye.
Yeah.
I like that as it's quite a subtle parallel, but I feel like, given that that's two scenes with her as a character, and again we're drawing so many comparisons between Daemon and Aemond, the fact that Daemon doesn't satisfy it, Daemon doesn't again satisfaction, he doesn't pay her with rubies, you can't eat rubies, and then doesn't ask her for help, doesn't give her the credit where credit is due, and then almost immediately Aegon is asking her for help. He is asking her and giving her the authority that I think she's craving. She's craving someone to take her seriously and be in her debt and kind of have that thought process. So I found it just interesting, the fact that they both talked about gems and then him having the gem in his eye. And yeah, the fact that obviously at this point as well, Alice, Aemond has Harrenhal.
Yeah.
And Aemond is potentially going to die without Alice's support. And then Alice wants Harrenhal. All she had to do was stand there while he was getting stabbed, and potentially she's getting everything she wants.
Well, Harrenhal plays quite an interesting role both in Game of Thrones and here, where it's a peculiar castle insofar that it's in the Riverlands, but it's not the seat of power in the Riverlands. That would be the Tully place, which is called... Oh, God, what's it called?
River Run?
River Run, that's it. Yeah, River Run, yeah. And probably one of the reasons for that is that Harrenhal is, they say it's cursed, but arguably it's too big to man, because even Simon Strong always goes on about, oh, well, we need to fix the roof here and we need to do that there. And they're basically just living in a tiny part of the castle, which is otherwise just becomes more you look at it at the beginning of Game of Thrones, what was it, season 2 or whatever, where Arya gets taken there. That probably, I'd imagine, looks worse then than it does now, even though it looks bad now.
It probably looks worse because Vhagar's had a bit of an extra barbecue on an already melted castle. They're living out of tents.
Yeah,
it's a giant figurehead that you need to live in tents.
Yeah, but
it's a completely false prestige.
Well, yeah, it's a false prestige is actually quite a good way of describing it, because if you look at who owns it, so it's the Strong family at the moment that have owned it, I think pretty much all the way through House of the Dragon up until now.
Yeah, I think so.
They've, but you look at
Strong.
Yeah, but you look at Harwin and Larys Strong. They are sort of manoeuvring themselves upwards, as was, of course, the other the hand of the who was he? We really liked him.
Simon.
No,
the guy that Aegon stabbed.
The guy that was Viserys' hand after Otto.
Dad Strong.
Oh, right.
Sorry, what was that?
Mr. Dad Strong. The one.
Yeah.
That was Larys and Harwin's father.
Yeah. But then you look at who gets Harrenhal. So you look at who is it? Slanos? No, what's it? The head of the City Watch, Thanos Slint, as I want to say. I'm just gonna, he gets Janos Slint. There we go.
Oh, Janos Slint, yeah.
There we go.
Original Game of Thrones.
Original Game of Thrones. He at one point had Harrenhal, I believe.
I think so. I don't think he ever made it to Harrenhal. I think it was in his name, wasn't it?
Yeah, Lord of Harrenhal formerly. That's it.
Yeah.
So, it is the castle that people get. So with Peter Baelish, he acquired that castle and the lands around it, which catapulted into a position where he could then marry Lysa Arryn. Mm-hmm. So it's a castle that you have. It just comes with like a aristocratic status, and that is sort of the thing that. Because
that's all it.
It's not like giving someone a small keep like what Baelish used to have in the Fingers. which was like, it was called, I don't know what it was called, like Unnamed Keep or something. And but it's like, it's a proper big castle that is of no use to anyone who's actually a mover and shaker in Westeros, but it is useful to people that want to marry into a big, into a aristocratic family. So Alice Rivers could really sort of turn that one around to her advantage. Like, obviously, Damon isn't like, he said it. He doesn't. He said it a bit flippantly. We're not in the habit of giving castles out to midwives. But at the same point, it's like, if you gave it to Alice Rivers, she would then become like a fundamentally a major player in Westeros, and that comes
Well,
with
I
its
think
own
that's what's
problems.
particularly fascinating about the concept of Alice wanting it. Is when I originally wrote my notes, I said, "What is her play? Why does she want it?" I think she wants it because it's like witchy, cursed, ghosted, haunted. Like, she doesn't want it because of the political associations that come with it. I don't think she wants it because it will mean that she can marry into royalty or marry into power or hold sway over the local lands because of the title that comes with it. I think she is the only person that, like, because it's a part of the parcel. No one wants it. No one can live in it. No one can maintain it. No one can improve it. Is just literally a title. Like, it is the, you can't, like, you can't live in a title, but you can't live in Harrenhal, and it is
Yeah,
just a
yeah.
title that comes building.
Hmm.
And I think she is the only person who wants it just for the castle itself, for what land it sits on, for the kind of the spooky heritage of it, because she is a witch. Like she says in the last episode, she's a witch, and then she seems offended that Damon just calls her a midwife. And I think her, like, having re-thought about it, when I originally wrote it, I wrote, why the heck does she want it? What's the play? But I genuinely think her play is nothing political. I don't think she wants the castle for the political power. She wants it for its actual innate power in its cursed nature.
Yeah.
And so I think because no one wants it and no one can hold it, and no one can maintain it, and no one can improve it, is the reason why it's a useful kind of political hollow title. It's a hollow castle with a hollow title. You get given, here's your lands, whatever. You get Karen Hall, and it's cursed. And good luck to you.
Hmm.
Um, and that's why it's constantly moving hands. That's why it's constantly being given by the king or the queen to the next person over, to the next person over. And I think if Damon was willing to give it to Alice and be like, it is yours, then you could just move that out. Like, it should be made redundant. Like, it's not a good defensive castle. It's not useful in any capacity
I
other
don't
than a
know. He did
title. So if
well.
you
He.
were to say the new rulers of Midlands, or whatever it is, the
Hmm.
Riverlands, is
Hmm.
House Tully out of River,
Hmm.
and completely just take it off the map. Like, it never, after it was burnt, it should never have been on the map, and just say, look, it's a witch owns it, whatever. That would be more like useful than just using it as a parcel of cursed land.
Hmm.
Um, and again, I feel like it's very interesting to me that obviously there's going to now be potentially a relationship between Alice and Aemond.
Yeah.
And I think Aemond would probably give it to Alice. I think Alice will, like, and Alice is interesting as well from our understanding of Aemond's character, because Alice kind of fulfills a lot of criteria for things he's interested in. So we discussed a little bit last season about Alice casting wise looking like Helena. There's
Mm.
something about the way that her face shape is, that she looks kind of like a dark sister to Helena. They both have sort of spooky, witchy vibes. And I think there's at least one episode where we discussed that. I think the casting is really interesting. That
Yeah.
I think there's something about the way that her look and her vibe is very similar to Helena, but she's got darker facial features like Alicent. Um, and she's more mature. And so I feel like Aemond is going to be a complete and utter sucker for her. I think she can wrap him round her finger
Yeah.
without batting an eyelid. So I'll be really interested to see how their relationship works, because, like, I don't think she's necessarily a player in terms of politics, but she is a player in terms of genuine power.
Yeah.
And Aemond comes with a lot of inbuilt power
Hmm.
and not necessarily a lot of political savvy.
Or Damon.
And so it's
Or
Aemond.
Aemond. Aegon.
Aemond. Sorry,
Aemond.
Aegon.
Aegon. Okay.
The one that's in the castle with her.
Oh, the one that's in the castle with her, that's Aemond.
Aemond. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like I think he's got a lot of clout, but not actually that much political savvy. And so I think between the two of them, they could be a really interesting wild card in this particular generation of Game of Thrones, where there is more kind of magic and weirdness and mysticism in the Game of Thrones full timeline. But yeah, I like it. I feel like Max hasn't said anything for a while. Have we been talking over you, Max? Are you okay?
No. I'm just I'm good. I agree with everything you're saying, pretty much. So, taking the words out of my mouth.
Do you have any thoughts on Alice and Aemond and all of that sort of spooky coolness?
I think that Eamon's found his goth mommy that's gonna take care of him and solve all his problems.
I'll be interested to see how that characterization plays out.
Yeah, I mean, Aemond is, well, he's very emotionally naive, right? Like so this might link into like his kiss with Alicent, sort of maybe symbolizing or showing he is emotionally fucked up and fragile, and he's looking, and if Alice sort of portrays this caring nurse, Florence Nightingale kind of thing, he's going to fall in love hard for her.
I mean, it's Alice and Alicent.
Even that as well, yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Like, if we're talking about Aemond and Damon and Alice and Alicent, like, there is a lot of, like the good thing about the names in this being super the worst is that, like, everything rhymes. Like, there is so much, like, linguistic, but the fact that, like, she looks like Helena but has Alicent's coloring, and the fact that she has, like, Helena's otherworldliness but has sort of Helena's Helena's otherworldliness and Alicent's sort of poise. Like, you know, he's found a new mother sister wife.
Someone that just puts up with his shit.
Or not. Maybe he needs someone to be like, no.
He needs to go away. He's a bad man.
Bad man.
I actually, when they were sort of getting ready for the storming of King's Landing with Helena, I was a little worried that there would be, and this is interesting actually, where Helena very sheepishly said, "We're not hurting the dragons today," and I was starting to think,
enjoy her describing it as like, "I'm not going to hurt any beasts." Like, that's nice.
Yeah,
the idea that, like, she's looking at it from an animal perspective, but also the idea that she thinks of dragon riders potentially as beasts as well. She doesn't want to hurt any beasts, even if they're human beasts.
I was half thinking that she would be ignored because this story has a habit of ignoring women in charge. But for some reason, on this account,
Well, I think Alicent stepping up was the main thing. Like, Alicent can pose a compelling argument when she's not under the sway of other men. Like, she posed a compelling argument. Like, do you want to die by dragonfire? Vhagar's not here, and, like, Daemon and, like, there are multiple dragons on their way. Do you really want to piss them off? Like, would you prefer peace? Is a really compelling argument. And if she could be queen in her own sake, like, if she could have raised enough above the situation she was in to genuinely have been a player and not just be a piece, there is reason to say that Alicent could have made a perfectly good queen. But she was always in a position where she was never a true player. So, like, I really liked it as an example of, like, this is what women can do when they're actually able to do it. Like, you know, they can actually, you know, sue for peace when people aren't forcing their power. And I did like it's nice to see passive power. Like, Helen, you know, I have the authority. I am, like, yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Seriously. Is, again, just, like, I don't know what the right emotional word is for Orwell being decent and Helena being listened to. But I feel like it just adds enough of an emotional
Mm-hmm.
the roller coaster work, because I feel like a lot of the times, particularly in the early seasons with this, it would just felt like you were going downhill the entire time. It's always more dour and more serious.
Yeah.
And I think the reason why this episode didn't drag is you have those little moments of, it's not quite hope, it's not quite like, it's not humor, it's just nice. Nice. I don't know what the word is. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, it was bittersweet, really, because okay, so this show definitely sets Rhaenyra up to be the one you want to be rooting for, right? The flawed hero, or the blacks being the side of the flawed hero. You know, Daemon being, shall we say, more of an epitome of a flawed hero. But yeah, like, I mean, I'm just thinking now, like, by how many people have sat on the Iron Throne now, right? So it was Viserys, Aegon, Aemond. Aemond is like with a little asterisk. But by Game of Thrones, you had Robert. You had by season 3, it was just Joffrey then, wasn't it?
I mean, are we talking about people physically sitting their booty upon the seat or claiming the throne as their own?
Yeah, changes of throne bottoms.
So if we're talking about physical butts on seats, there's been quite a few physical butts on seats during this season, and also during this series, and changes of power. So we've had, like at the beginning, Daemon sitting on the throne.
Yeah, but he was not as king, though. Like, I mean, I'm not
as king, but like his physical power changes. Yeah, there's been more.
Yeah, I mean, you could also argue Jaharis in the very first beginning of episode 1, but I'm sort of counting that as a flashback rather than.
Yeah, was he actually on the throne? I thought that was his flashback was at Harrenhal. I don't think that was on
but he was king.
Throne.
Like but he was king. That's sort of really what I'm
sorry.
The official king. I don't know. It's the official.
The official king. Like, how many people are gonna still claim Rhaenyra as a usurper? Like, it's interesting.
Who holds King's Landing, basically?
Who holds King's Landing? Yeah, we'll go with that.
It's so because at the end of this episode, she just takes the seat, and there we go. Also, actually, going back a little bit, because there's quite a few scenes we missed out.
There's so much that happened this episode.
Yeah,
there's so much.
There's a nice little scene where they were celebrating. I think it was like around Harrenhal, where they were celebrating the
song.
The song.
Yeah. I love a good song exposition moment where you get like characterization and you get kind of a summary of the crowd feeling at the time, and also like just the fun of the directors and the musical directors getting to be able to write a like folk song. It was nice.
Yeah, it was nice, and it showed the characters in a little bit more. There's a bit of showing exposition.
I like the fact that it's set up. I put my in my physical notes. I put Daemon, big charisma.
Yes,
and like I like the fact that because it shows that he's actually good at leading people, and also good at learning what they require to be led. So obviously he's had a bit of a learning curve with the river about like their needs and their wants and their history. It's a nice reminder of what he did with the gold cloaks. So that when you have the gold cloak stepping into the throne room, I was immediately like, they're going to still be loyal because we've reminded it's almost the what's it called? Power of 3, where you have the setup, the reminder, and the payoff.
Yeah,
we had the setup all the way back in episode 1 of season 1 that Daemon really got the gold cloaks on his side. He knew how to make them happy, and then we had the reminder with him getting the men's adoration and clearly having a good time with them, and then kind of reading the room when he gets the note from Rhaenyra, and being willing to like defend, like so he can go off with Craxes and do what he needs to do. And then you had the payoff with the gold cloaks at the end, with them going like, yeah dude, I'm loyal to you, mate.
Mm-hmm.
The one true queen. It was really good storytelling.
Yeah. Yeah, because when the gold cloaks came in, yeah, there we go. It was like, oh man, it's gonna like, is it gonna happen? Because it wasn't like a foregone conclusion, although
It wasn't foregone.
but then a little bit of flashback trauma in it from season 1 of Game of Thrones. It's like, hang on a minute, I don't trust this. I mean, maybe, but I don't trust this.
They also left it vague with Alicent. So obviously Alicent went and talked to is it Laurent, the Largant, the head of the Gold Cloaks, and they specifically cut the scene short before he reacted. We had her going like, "How do you feel about Rhaenyra coming back? Rhaenyra is coming back. Don't you think it's good that she should be in charge?" And they specifically did not give his reaction. And then later on with the scene with Alicent and Mr. Rapist, they were like, "What were you doing an hour ago?" And they didn't give the answer again, so they could hold that tension all the way through to the Gold Cloaks being revealed. But like, I do feel like from a long-term storytelling perspective, to have it set up as the like Daemon knows how to get a group of men on his side.
Yeah. Excellent leadership there. Like, so in hindsight, I don't think that, like, a lot of people didn't really enjoy. We at the time criticized the Damon plotline in season 2 for it not really going anywhere. But now that it's a little bit more paid off, it doesn't seem so bad in hindsight.
Yeah, I think we have taken into account that I think part of the criticism we had of that particular arc was because Matt Smith had injured himself and therefore had to have a sort of pillory sort of plot. And I think maybe if we didn't have that meta knowledge, then maybe we would have been slightly less frustrated with the fact that he spent a lot of time just sat around. Like, I made a note again for this episode. It's nice to have a lot of Daemon being Daemon in this episode.
Yeah.
Like, he is being full Daemon continuously. Like, he is active. He is like participating in all of the mythology, like the main action. He's having his action star moments. He's doing dragon riding. He's really, I'd be interested to see the payoff with him and the dragon seeds, because he's being a bit of an arse for the dragon seeds, but he's getting shit done.
well,
I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Like he like his conversation with what you call the grey worm lady.
Oh, the white worm.
White worm.
The white worm. Like his conversation with her was like really like interesting in so many different ways.
And that look he gives her as he's walking away is like perfect.
Yeah. I like the conversation in Valyrian, like just the fact that he like between the direction and hearing Valyrian for the first time this season, other than dragon, like just talking to dragons, like having conversational Valyrian, it felt like such a thread to hang on to. Like I just put me in like Rhaenyra's mindset of like hearing a familiar dialect.
Yeah.
And that being kind of so comforting and so like a way of pulling her out of her depression and giving weight to what he's saying in terms of the mythology of it all. Like having Daemon being the one to do that, I found really like it was very compelling.
Yeah.
Like I don't know exactly how much of it was direction, acting, the framing of those scenes with Daemon and Rhaenyra, and he's like trying to pull her out of the depression. And he like in comparison to the early seasons, Daemon's showing a lot of emotional intelligence in that. Like he's getting shit done, but he's making progress. He's getting his goals. He's doing it in a very Daemon way.
Yeah.
But he was able to so effectively read the room. Again, he's a very good character.
Yeah.
It's a very like he's an effective character to have in this story, and he's got a really good level of complexity. And I really liked hearing the conversational Valyrian again.
Yeah. Strong episode for Daemon. Actually, it's good to see him back.
Like the action sequences, I really like. Just a shout out because I love Caraxes.
Yeah, with
Rex is just he's just such a weird spicy noodle with a weird like scream.
he's got his gabby leg.
He's got his gabby leg and he's got such a like sort of shrieky little scream. Like he's best boy. He's so weird. He's just such a noodle.
So these guards then, are they just like they're not are they just like I don't know what they are, like high tower guard? They're not high tower guards because they've got the Targaryen sigil on them, but they're in the high tower kind of colours, aren't they?
Is this one's in the infiltration sequence where they're taking Red Keep?
Yeah.
So I'm assuming that they are high tower guards in the same way that you would have had in Game of Thrones proper, you would have had obviously the King's Guard, but you would have had Lannister guards and you would have had Baratheon guards.
Yeah.
At the time, who were like your own private guards, like in the same way when Ned was the Hand of the King, he had his own Northerners. Like Stark guards, he had his own household guard.
He did.
You would have your own household guard as well as having any royal guards. So I'm assuming, and again, this is a time of war and a time when Alicent really understands political iconography. Yeah. So in a time of war, you're going to have your household guards wearing full coloured livery to really identify your team and your side. I think that I will say this is the first time I've noticed how prolific the green was for the high tower house guards, but it was effective. Like you knew, like when you, the whole point of having livery on the battlefield is so you know who your enemies are. Yeah. Like that was one of the things during the early sequences of this episode with Corlys.
Yeah.
Or the post hoc kind of follow up to the Gullet scene is I could not tell who was from the triarchy, who was from Corlys' side. They were all wearing shades of grey.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, are we just like when they were like killing like people who were like coming out of the water, like picking off soldiers who were like struggling to get up onto shore. I was like, how can you tell who's who? How?
Yeah.
So like I felt like that, like then having the very clear bright green high tower guards in the Red Keep was useful.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah. I just remember in Game of Thrones there were like overt Lannister guard, but Lannisters weren't sitting on the throne. Were there Baratheon guards, or were there literally just like?
I think there was some. There's no real mention of Baratheon guards because the Baratheon guards, I think when Robb took the throne, just took on as much like royal prestige as he could. So he mostly stuck with the King's Guard, and then obviously Renly was there, so he would have had Baratheon guards as part of the Renly household. But I think obviously Cersei had her whole pride, unintended, of Lannister guards, and obviously Jaime was there as well. And so I feel like she would have specifically still had Lannister loyal and Lannister wearing uniformed guards.
Yeah.
Even with Robb as the actual king. And then Robb himself would have just relied on the King's Guard because he's not necessarily got the intelligence to think I need Baratheon men around me.
Yeah.
I think Cersei would have said I need Lannister men around me.
Yeah.
And I think Tywin maybe even said Cersei needs, like, there needs to be a Lannister force always in King's Landing to support Robb and retain the feeling of power over the throne. I think Tywin would have insisted on having a strong, continuous Lannister force in the royal household. While obviously, and again, Otto and the presentation of the Greens within this series, I can definitely seeing Alicent 100% trying to make it as green as possible. The fact that she and Helena are wearing very similar coloured dresses as well this sequence, this episode.
Yeah.
They're both wearing very similar cut, kind of very medievally classic, like open-fronted green dresses. I think she's just very much in the while we're at war, we wear our house colours. While we're at war, we make it really clear who's who.
Yeah. I'm scanning through the old Game of Thrones season 1 episodes, and I'm not actually seeing any guards that are either Kingsguard, Lannister, Northman. Yeah, he doesn't. But I don't know
Well,
what the Baratheon uniform
I,
would look like.
well, it'll be something kind of dark and with antlers. Like I don't think it's. I think if Game of Thrones were made now,
Yeah.
like if they remade season 1, they'd make a point to have slightly more blatant Baratheon guards in the background. But I don't think they're mentioned in even in the books as like a important part of the story, because I know for a fact that there's multiple mentions, I think, both in the series and in the books, of the Stark family guards. The fact
Yeah.
that the Hand of the King brought his own guards, and it's something that Ned worries about, is not having enough guards. If all goes tits up,
Hmm.
like who is loyal to him? So he has his very small amount of personal guards that he's brought from the north.
Yeah.
He thinks he has the loyalty of the Gold Cloaks via Littlefinger. He knows he doesn't have the loyalty of the White Cloaks. He's hoping that maybe his signed declaration from Rob is enough to buy that loyalty.
Yeah.
And then I'm sure I'm almost certain there's a mention of the Lannister family guards
Yeah.
in the Red Keep with Cersei, as well as Ellen Payne and the Hound. The Hound is like obviously like he doesn't wear the uniform of the Lannisters, but he is a Lannister like loyalist.
Yeah, but
So
I think
yeah,
he might be different because he's a Clegane, which are kind of highborn
like
enough.
his own thing rather
Yeah.
than being just a soldier of the house. Yeah. So I feel like if they were to remake Game of Thrones now, they might do something subtly like having Baratheon household guards and having Baratheon
Yeah.
and having Lannister household guards. But I don't think it's an essential thing to the plot of Game of Thrones at that point in the season. But I think it is a reasonable bit of visual storytelling worth putting into House
Yeah.
of the Dragon.
Oh, definitely. They've definitely gone, further in on the
Yeah.
on the storytelling there. Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, I did enjoy the pop of color and the fact that you could really see who you're attacking while doing that big infiltration scene. And again, Damon being a badass, and the fact that like I'll be interested to know. This is this is one of those like I don't care necessarily if we never get the answer.
Hmm.
Has Rhaenyra ever actually received any significant sword training? Like, obviously, she killed the boar when she was a teenager, and she's a dragon rider. So I'm assuming, like, in order to dragon ride, I assume you must be pretty dang physically fit. Like, I feel like you need a lot of like upper body strength, a lot of core strength. You need to have good general physical fitness to be a dragon rider. Do you think Rhaenyra has had any sword training other than the pointy end goes in? Like, she had good grip on her sword. She looked relatively confident wielding a sword, but like the fact that who was it who was laughing at her when she was, I think was the White Cloak who was saying you're the usurper and you know
Mm.
all that jazz, was kind of poking fun at the fact that she drew a sword with the intention to potentially wield it when it's just her and Damon. I would be interested. Like, I feel like it's the sort of thing that Rhaenyra would like to have done on principle, but I don't know if she's had time to learn
Well,
how
they
to wield
they
a sword.
they talk about this. Her and what's the white worm again? Uh,
Remember her name? Call her White Worm. It's fine.
yeah, House of
That's
the
what I've
Dragon.
been calling her.
Yeah, that's good. Okay, yeah. She talked in a conversation with her. White word. No, I want white worm. Massaria. There we go. Massaria.
Sorry, I thought it began with an M.
Yeah, I knew it was good, but I kept going Melisandre. No.
Yeah, my brain was stuck on Melisandre.
So she was talking about how she was never trained with a sword growing up, despite like being a queen and everything. And then she does sort of consider. Is she practicing around a little bit, or does she like then start considering some attempts at it?
Well,
Like she's not.
I can see potentially like it being a flirtation thing between her and Simon Strong. Be like him like showing her how to use a sword, but I don't know whether or not at that point she would have had the political freedom, because at that point she was still living in the Red Keep. to have actually done some physical practice. I feel like, if she asked Damon and they're like in a good, like at a good emotional point, he would have maybe done some training with her. I feel like if she's going to carry a sword, she needs to have been given some training. I just don't know when she would have had the time.
She has. Is it Dark Sister that she's wielding or something like? No.
Dark Sister's Damon's sword. So I think that's the reason. Part of the reason why he gave her the sword was not only because it's a Valyrian steel blade, so presumably it's sharper. I assume it's also quite a bit. I think Valyrian steel is traditionally quite a light metal, but I imagine it's a heavier sword than the one that she carries, and so that would have also potentially helped with her decapitating Otto.
I mean, I would just go as far as say it's a better sword in general.
It's a better sword. But I think having more weight and being sharper definitely would assist someone who's maybe not as physically strong as Daemon.
Yeah.
To decapitate in, one proper strike and one partial strike.
But she did it. She did it in 2, which is less than Theon Greyjoy. So there we go.
Yeah, she did it in 2, and she did it her first strike was the first time I thought she used the flat of the blade briefly. I thought that maybe she was going to deliberately spare him, but then she obviously re-hit. But I thought, to be honest, I thought it was again, this could be labeling something that putting a label on something that isn't a thing. But the first time we watched that scene, I thought she was somewhat deliberately torturing Otto, that she had deliberately used the flat of the blade to be like, fuck you, you think I'm gonna miss? Here's some pain, and then actually hitting. And then on rewatch I was like, oh no, she just missed. My first reading of it was like, damn girl, you've got some anger issues.
Yeah, I mean,
that wasn't my reading of it. My reading of it was that she, that she was reluctant to do so. And
there was a reluctancy.
Pushed her.
I did appreciate the fact that these, in the way that the more recent Spider-Man movies have stayed away from using the exact phrasing of with great power comes great responsibility. I do appreciate that the poetical sentiment of he who reads the sentence swings the sword holds true, but wasn't verbalized. Because that, I feel, is a North saying, that's a Stark saying, it's a Northern saying, but the sentiment does depict a morality of this world, and I appreciate that sentiment kind of was the inbuilt sentiment of the world hung true, that she who swung read the sentence should swing the sword without it being said. I feel like that it upholds a moral imperative of the world without stating the law itself.
Yeah. I mean, it was definitely implied there. I mean, it was like, well, no, actually, it wasn't. It was more than implied. It was asserted by, look, if Daemon he straight up says, this is the thing. Was it? You'll be made queen in this moment or something.
Yeah, you'll be made queen. But that's a slightly different sentiment to, this is just because you're doing it.
In this moment, you'll become queen. There we go.
Yeah. So it's slightly different sentiment to who wields the sentence swings the sword. But yeah, it's also a co-signing of it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, and actually this is interesting from a Daemon's point of view, because in season 2, Daemon, he wanted Simon Strong to call him king without the king consort, right? There was this subtle, not so subtle implication that he was possibly looking to softly usurp Rhaenyra anyway, he was, trying to position himself as a king. And
I mean, I'm still thinking that's in his pocket at some point. He's done so well this episode to be a good husband and a loyal lord, but I'm still give him the opportunity. What here?
Well, he says here, he's the thing is, if he wanted to move against Rhaenyra, he would have cut off Otto's head, right? Because it would have made him look like the king. It would have made him look like the ruler in the room. And Rhaenyra took it upon herself, despite clearly not wanting to do it, clearly distraught from all the things that has happened to her family up until this point. Jace specifically here. And then she just walks through his blood.
Yeah, I was gonna say, does like going back to the theme of satisfaction,
Mm-hmm.
do you think it's a kind of not a kink, but do you think Damon finds satisfaction in seeing Rhaenyra both step up to the plate and also do what he wants her to do? He wanted her to like, do you think he gets satisfaction from seeing her do that to Otto? Do you think that's something that he enjoys?
I think he's mostly satisfied that Otto's dead.
Okay.
He hated him, but maybe there is something extra to being Rhaenyra.
Yeah, I did enjoy the bloody footprints though. The bloody footprints were traumatizing, but such good imagery.
Yeah. I mean, Damon and Otto have never seen eye to eye, so it probably would have been in the visceral satisfaction of Damon to actually just kill him himself. So I think,
the fact that he gave it up, maybe that's character progression, but also like, he has his cake and eat it. He gets to sleep with his niece. He gets to be king by proxy, and he gets to see Otto beheaded. Oh, he's having a good day.
And he had to cut off some that rapist's head anyway, and he didn't want to finish his sentence. So that's pretty cool.
I am a bit interested in. I cannot remember for the life of me how Damon felt about whatever he's called, the rapist guy.
Ironrod's a very minor character, all things considered. He doesn't have much consequence, which is one of the reasons why I felt that the scene was so stupid, because there's no motivation for him to do that. His motivations are nothing. It's just it was purely a scene to degrade Alicent, and
we've had plenty of degrading of Alicent.
Yeah,
I feel like
exactly, yeah. So I don't know, it's sort of. But so I don't know. I think Ironrod. Yeah, he's just fucking furniture, really, isn't he?
Yeah, he's fucking furniture without a head.
Yep. Yeah, and then she's sort of there, sort of crying on the throne, isn't it? Be careful. Oh, and and then the City Watch capture Alicent and Helaena. Which
I did think Alicent really didn't like. I am impressed with how much Alicent managed to get done in one day. Like as soon as Vhagar left, she managed to go talk to the guards, nearly get raped, go get Helaena, stop the guys from attacking Rhaenyra, pack up her bags with a bunch of jewelry and get Helaena, get her grandson, her granddaughter, and head out of the keep. But then she did it wearing like the most noble colours. She's wearing like a teal cloak wandering around King's Landing. Like, she could have at least borrowed a grey cloak.
No, the teal cloak is symbolic because she's no longer Team Green. She is the Alicent that grew up with Rhaenyra.
It's not a good escape outfit. She was going to get caught.
Yeah.
She's got two bright blonde, like a child and grandchild. They could at least have worn dull clothing.
Yeah. No, I don't know. Yeah, it's the symbolism.
I mean, she just didn't have a chance to change. I suppose.
Didn't have a chance to change.
She could have at least worn get a grey cloak, borrow a grey cloak off of, I don't know, Orwell or something. She's done sneaky before, but who better sneaky? She was always going to get caught.
Oh, bless her.
I
thought,
a bad day.
See, so this is
a really bad day.
This is what's putting me on. This is what's made me curious for next episode, and I haven't seen the preview for the next episode. But it's like, so what now, right? Because in all fairness, because of what Alicent and Helaena done, you could say that's worthy of. All right, we'll give you some lands, and you can chill, right? You don't. I know that in Game of Thrones and a lot of these kind of like power struggle fantasy shows, you have to kill the people that oppose you, otherwise they will just regroup and come back. But you could I think you could let Alicent and Helaena go. Live in Harrenhal or something.
Interesting. So my thought on that is, had Alicent not stepped up this episode and proved that she has enough political sway to get the guards to stand down, then Rhaenyra would be able to say, look, she's been a victim of patriarchy her whole life. She and her daughter and her granddaughter are just women. They don't have any power. They can go off and retire in wherever, like probably somewhere in the Crown Land, so you can keep an eye on them. Maybe under significant guard, so they can't be like used as political pawns by other people. But because she stepped up and managed to get the guards to stand down, she's actually proved that she has genuine political savvy on her own footing without the power of the patriarchy. I mean, obviously, with Otto being dead, there's step down, but like she has potentially Kristen Cole, potentially Aemond, and like there are powerful people who are connected to Alicent who might do things to rescue her, quote unquote, or like there is stuff like, unless there was ways of effectively, completely, like full witness protection, like completely foolproof witness protection, there are people that would do horrible things to put her back in a position of power in some capacity or another, or use her as a figurehead. It's a very complicated situation. Like in an ideal world, yeah, she'd just go off and retire. But like I just it's more complicated than it ought to be. And I'm also interested to see, obviously, Alicent's reaction to Otto's death is devastated by it, but like she also had come to terms with the fact that Otto had put her into a horrible position her entire life.
Yeah.
So like, is she going to be able to digest that logically, or is she going to digest that emotionally? It's so tasty.
Yeah,
I'm interested to see how that goes, because in a way, like she didn't bargain for Otto's life. She was willing to sacrifice both of her sons.
Well, she didn't know Otto was alive.
To be over. She didn't know Otto was. Well, she like. Did we have any concept of whether or not she knew Otto was alive, or whether or not he was not responding to her messages? I can't remember where they left it with her knowledge of his current.
Yeah, he was just like. I mean, that's got to be kind of just like, oh my god, I had no idea there was a thing happening.
He's fine, but he's dead. Yeah, but she was willing to like let both of her sons die for the sake of her daughter and her granddaughter, but she never bargained for Otto's life. So technically, like, Rhaenyra hasn't broken any promises.
Yes, no, she hasn't. Yeah. And also, like, Alicent's got to accept the fact that, because fundamentally, and she knows this as well as anyone, that Otto Hightower was the mastermind behind
all the misery.
All of it. Alicent hides behind the excuse that it was an accident, but Otto doesn't. Otto's perfectly aware that he's a conspirator.
It's like, in a perfect world, Alicent is immediately like, yeah, totally, I get it. You had to kill him. My son's not here. Like, I didn't bargain for his life. It's fine. Like, can you let me and my daughter and my granddaughter go, and we'll all be golden and happy and woo? In theory. But when has anyone ever done that in a drama like this?
Yeah. I'm going to be interested to see, because it looked like, this looks like, well, I mean, we all know that it's, what is it, they reckon four series of House of the Dragon in this timeline is what it's estimated to be at, what this is going to go for.
That's what they said. So
it's obviously not ending now, but at the same time, it's like, this looks like it might almost have been some sort of resolution. Dun-dun-dun.
Yeah. It feels like when you're reading a book and you're like, the couple are together and they're happily adopted their baby and the dog's safe. Oh no, there's 3 more chapters.
Yeah. So, yeah,
obviously they've not exactly left it with everyone happy and peachy.
No, I mean, Aemon's still about, and he's still got Vhagar. So we do know that he spends some time at Harrenhal. So I'd be curious to know what that all means.
Yep. Him and Alicent up to all sorts.
All sorts. Filthy.
So we haven't actually talked about a couple of scenes, by the way.
All right. Okay. What ones have we missed out?
We haven't talked about Aegon and Laris doing their little escape from the cart / not escaping from the cart.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Where is that?
Did Aegon really need to stab that guy? I mean, he's already incapacitated.
I will say, like, we've talked about this show not having a lot of humour. That scene was quite funny to me. There was something about it that was kind of slapstick and
it was good.
And two cripples off on their own adventure.
don't.
And the fact that like Aegon was somewhat competent, and when he's not when he's actually fending for himself and not addled by Milk of the Poppy. Like, yes, him stabbing that guy was very similar to the scene in season 1 of Game of Thrones with Tyrion when he's passing through on the way to House Aaron and he ends up killing the guy with the shield.
Yeah.
The idea that a character that doesn't have physical prowess, when put to it, can fend for themselves, can do what needs to be done when the time comes. And I think that's what that character scene was showing with him shanking that guy with an arrowhead.
Yeah.
The fact that he didn't have a weapon, he retrieved an arrow and he used it. Immediately effective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Was it an arrow? I thought it was a dagger. Hang on.
I thought he retrieved an arrow, yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. No, I see it. No, it was a dagger, but I see why you think it was an arrow.
Oh, okay.
Because there's an arrow right there on the ground, yeah. Like
He retrieved a weapon and shanked a guy with it.
Okay.
I think so.
I thought he pulled the arrow out of a guy and then used it.
Oh, wait a minute. No, you are totally right.
Because obviously they would have been disarmed when they were captured and locked back up with the ravens. Which, obviously, like, locking them back up with the ravens, they've got potential to send ravens to people.
I mean, I don't...
Like, that's quite a lot of power.
I don't know. That's
like... ravens going to listen to them?
Yeah.
How does sending ravens even work?
Who knows? Who knows how the postal system works? It's a male-dominated industry.
Yeah, because it's like, well, it used to be the case that pigeons were like brought up somewhere, then they'd be taken away because they'd always fly back home. So you tie a...
Yeah, I think they used to be trained using mating pairs. I think they used to separate mating pairs, and then they would be able to find their partner. I think that was part of the training.
Oh, I didn't know that. That's interesting.
I could be wrong, but I feel like there was something to do with separating mating pairs with a way of like encouraging the birds to do the journey until they've learnt the route.
Oh, yeah. I feel like we need to watch a documentary about this.
We also haven't discussed Corlys surviving Corlys, and handing out names. Yeah, I mean that was a pretty, again, like just not a hopeful scene, but like a nice scene to have him kind of naming his bastards.
Now, okay, so the question is, does Alan get in on this?
Well, Alan does. Yeah, he was.
Adam.
Away. He
sorry,
came over and gave
Adam.
Came over and gave a big hug. Yeah, they're both in on it.
Okay.
You wouldn't name one of the sons and not the other one. That's a bit shitty.
Well, the other, I know. It's like it's like a family reunion.
Well, it is. It's like all of his various living offspring, other than Rhaenyra.
Baylor.
No, Baylor was with him. Rhaenyra.
Yeah, Rhaenyra. Yeah, no, you're right. Yeah, Christ. Yeah.
Names. I will say, I feel like in the way that we talked about last episode kind of being the end of last season, I feel like Baylor looks older in this episode than she did in episode 1. Like, this was shot for this season, and last episode was shot for last season. I don't know. It feels like the teenage characters have aged up again.
I kind of feel like everyone seems to have aged up again. I feel like Alicent has and not that the actor has, it feels like they've been aged up deliberately. I feel like because Alicent, I feel like her hairline was receded just a little bit, which kind of gives that impression.
Yeah, I also feel like they put her in a slightly less flattering outfit, so it looks like she's gained a little bit of like. I mean, she's meant to be a grandmother. Like she's Helena's old enough to have a 4-year-old. Like,
yeah,
she's meant to be of a somewhat mature age.
Yeah. I mean, aging up isn't too difficult in the land of TV, right? They've been doing it for.
Yes. Well, given that Kristen Cole is immortal.
Well, yeah, but his barber hates him, so you take the rough with the smooth, right?
Now, would you take immortality if you always had bad hair?
Yeah, it's oh man.
So the only other little sequences we haven't talked about, well, super quickly. So the scene between Damon and the White Worm lady.
Oh, yeah, I love that scene.
It was just there was a certain level of maturity with it, where they were like they're old. They know each other of old. They know each other well, and I do like seeing them as non-sexual,
The old chums.
Intelligent equals. They both have their own kind of sidelines, and they're both kind of using Rhaenyra in their own way, or wanting the best for Rhaenyra in their own way. But there's an equality of intelligence that it's nice to see them just talking.
It feels a little bit. It feels like a little bit like an unconventional family. Yeah. Like sort of a bizarre love triangle.
Which is ironic, because they're not related and they've slept together.
Well, when I say family, I don't necessarily mean genetic family. I mean sort of like love triangle, but in a slightly more wholesome way.
Yeah, there's something there's an equality between them that I actually just find nice to have on screen. They can be very candid with each other, which I really enjoy about them. And there's still machinations, and there's still goals, and there's still lack of clarity, and they have plays in the game, but there's something very nice about two characters just being on equal footing.
Yeah.
And not everything is about you, Damon. Powerful statement. That is a powerful statement he needs to hear.
Yeah.
And I think the fact that after that, the fact that he was there was something about that statement coming from the White Worm, and then the way that he then interacted with Rhaenyra going forward that episode, where he did actually genuinely step back.
Yeah.
And it was nice. It was nice. I think it was needed.
Yeah.
So the only other two tiny little sequences that I just want to mention, because they are literally cutaways, is the trauma boys in Vega. So when Vega started flying over, and Kristen Cole and Gawain reacted and being like, "Well, shit, the nuke is in."
Wait a minute. Where was she?
It was a tiny little scene, tiny little cutaway scene, of just before the Harrenhal scene with Aemond, of Vega being reacted to by Wayne and
I see.
Cole. It just kind of follows their sort of shit, nukes exist type theme that they be going forward. And the other very similar cutaway is the Kingfolks of Small Landing reacting to the dragons coming, King's Landing. And there was just a lot of cameos from characters of yore. There was what's he called's wife.
Hugh the Hammer's wife. Yeah.
Hugh the Hammer's wife. There was just a couple of characters that I was like, oh, cameos from the small folks. It just felt like it was a nice way of visualizing a homecoming, and it was a nice way of having the reality of the situation kind of set up and resolved. I liked it.
Yeah, callbacks.
That's all my notes, other than I did note my start and finish time, including my credits time, just to see if there's a difference.
Okay, what's your?
So my total was 1 hour, 1 minute and 32 seconds, including credits.
Mine is 1 hour, 3 minutes, 58 seconds.
Yours and mine match again, Chris.
You're good. How? So I missed.
And where do you watch it again, Jenny?
I watch it on now.
Right.
Now
so
did you have a recap at the beginning? Because we don't.
No.
No, but then my episode would be even shorter.
Oh, right,
shorter by 2 minutes. So my credits end at 1 minute 57, and the end credits begin at 1 hour and 14 seconds.
So 1 hour 57. Whoa. No, sorry.
1 minute 57 for the starting credits.
So it's 1 hour 2 minutes and 38 seconds when the credits.
You guys have an extra 2 minutes.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, where does that come? I do not think there's a scene.
I don't know. You guys have an extra 2 minutes. Nothing. 2 minutes could be a whole
Oh,
sequence. I don't
Jenny,
think
did
it
you
is.
see? Did you see Dong?
When does the intro end?
I did see Dong. I did have
Okay.
that in my notes. I decided not to mention that I saw Dong, but there was Dong. I saw Dong, and I was like, ding dong.
Ding dong. Dong counter goes up.
But it wasn't edited out for that purpose. It had, all these swears that it had. I am so fascinated by this.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to know. I want to know what 2 minutes I'm missing. I'm assuming it's tiny, tiny cutaways, but why?
Is it? Yeah. Is
Like,
it
I
like?
got-
Is it just they shave off bits of the scene of the scenes so it doesn't really,
No.
or is it?
Pacing still feels good. It's not like I feel like there's like this was cut too early or this like it feels fine. I'd have to do we need to do like a dual
You do it
watch along
side
at
by
some
side.
point. Do like a side by
Yeah.
side between your versions and my versions. That is fascinating.
Yeah. That's,
My best is that some parts are sped up
yeah.
faster just for runtime or
Maybe
ads or
see.
something.
I don't. Oh. Okay. We can you continue tracking this because that's bizarre.
Inquiring minds
That
want
is
to know.
bizarre. Yes. Oh, also, did you guys notice that Jace has been added to the credit sequence in the embroidery?
Oh yes.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Those are all
Although,
my notes. I've closed my notes document. I'm done.
although, isn't there a mistake? I think I remember noticing a mistake in the tapestry.
Oh.
Corlys. Oh yeah, is that Corlys killing a philosophy tube thingy? Abigail Thorne.
Oh yeah, I see it.
That's it, yeah,
I think it does kind of look. It does kind of look like that. Maybe that's just the rewriting of history.
Yeah, well, definitely, yeah. Because
Do you have a timestamp for that so I can look at it?
oh, it's right at the beginning. It's in the tapestry. 1:30 for me.
1:30.
1:30.
Yeah,
let me jump to 1:30. Just.
I mean, I got it streaming on the Discord if you want to see what I see.
I want to skip through on my version.
Yeah.
The court, Harrenhal, blah 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 blah. Okay. Oh yeah, I see that. Yeah, it does look like
Yeah. Poor Adam.
Rewriting history, or maybe we're misinterpreting the tapestry. Because obviously some of the tapestry elements are metaphorical. Like there's things like the symmetry of the dragons, where obviously the dragons weren't in that position.
Yeah.
So yeah. Cool. I mean, that could just be because he did fight her. It's not necessarily him killing. It could just be.
I mean, I'm just putting that down to it's like a deliberate how history remembers something is not the same as how it happened type of yeah. That's
cool.
just why yeah. Cool.
This was I really like this episode. Other than the two points that you guys pointed out that I think the Alicent scene is just unnecessary. I do appreciate that at least it was better than some versions of it in Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
So far, we've managed to make it to 3 seasons without a violent sexual a case of sexual violence involving physical violence.
Yeah, well, there was last episode there was the rape in the Kristen Cole's
screen.
Yeah,
it was off screen.
That actually maybe had more of a purpose to solve. It demonstrates I mean that's the thing, right? If you've got to do something like that, off screen is fine. Do you know what I mean?
Off screen is fine. In the same way as the serving maid in season 1 of House of the Dragon, who was Alicent then gave the milk of the poppy to, not milk of the poppy, the moon tea to. The violence of the act is just as problematic off screen than it is on screen. You don't need to see her being pinned down by Aegon to know how horrendous that is to be, the person who looks after his children. And then have the social pressure of them being forced to take an abortion potion. You don't need to see that to do it. And so I will say the fact that we managed Dany's wedding scene in Game of Thrones, the attempted Sansa attack during the King's Landing riot, the Sansa actual interaction with Ramsay Bolton, the Cersei scene at Joffrey's funeral, all of those were scenes that either weren't in the books or were in some form or another a more consensual act.
Yeah.
And in the show are presented as violent acts of rape. This is the first time we've had in House of the Dragon, like, you've had manipulation, you've had for social consent. Like Alicent's whole relationship with Viserys is for social consent. It was never a affirmative yes. It was, you know, the social circumstance caused that to be a thing that was required. And so it is still assault, but it's not depicted as an act of physical violence. While this is the first time we've had it as an act of physical violence, but even so, it wasn't depicted as, like, if you compare it to the Sansa scene at the King's Landing riot, which basically had almost exactly the same scenario. The resolve of that issue isn't someone being like their guts hanging out. So the man who rescues her really is cool because he does violence against the violent men. It's a man saying, I'm saying that's not acceptable. Arrest him, which is healthier depiction of rescuing culture. If you're going to have that scenario where someone has to be rescued by a authoritative person, having a man simply saying, no, that is not okay, is so much more powerful as a practical measure than someone being gutted. And then in terms of the depiction of Alicent, the fact that she is physically defending herself and also is never in a state of undress. Like, they never got to that. Like, with Sansa, like, they ripped off her dress and they exposed her corset and then they exposed her stockings. And it was very objectifying. Like, looking back at that scene, it is meant to be somewhat provocative, maybe not titillating, but it is a progressive scene of them slowly tearing her clothes off.
Yeah.
And how that is meant to be viewed versus how this scene is meant to be viewed.
Yeah.
Two very different things. And so I still think that they've learned some lessons in comparison to Game of Thrones regarding scenes of this nature. I still think it was a bit icky and unnecessary and an unjustified plot point.
Yeah. No, absolutely, yeah.
But still, lessons, they're still moving in the right direction, just, 4 steps forward, 1 step back.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. That sounds fair to me. Yeah.
Like, in terms of objectification, like, there was more male objectification in this episode than female objectification. Like,
yeah, but the thing is, well, I mean, you say objectification. I mean, it's really just
physical depiction of bodies.
Yeah, it's just nudity. I don't think they were just in the showers. I don't think there was any objectification going on. I think the guy liked having his dong out.
Yeah,
I mean,
he was like, the Queen's seen my ding.
It's just like, no, I don't think that one would be. Similarly,
in terms of undress, there was more equality in terms of undress and in terms of objectification.
Well, we saw
it wasn't an objectified scene.
I think in season 1 we saw erect dong, didn't we?
I think so. I don't remember specifically, but definitely there was, like, I did enjoy the fact that, again, not enjoy is not quite the right word, but I appreciated the fact that in House of the Dragon versus Game of Thrones never ever depicted male incompetence or genuine female pleasure. And in House of the Dragon, it depicted male incompetence and female pleasure. Like, those things alone, regardless of sexual violence, huge steps in the right direction.
Yeah, absolutely.
And two things that are not often depicted at all on screen. Like, that to me is what kind of raises this series a little bit, is the fact that it has, like, female pleasure being a small, like, a quiet thing. Like, I remember a lot of people when Rhaenyra and Daemon first got together, people being like, well, maybe she didn't enjoy that much. It wasn't like gasping and, calling out. A lot of the time it's not that big of a reaction. You can be satisfied. She seemed to enjoy it perfectly well. And equally, Daemon and other very powerful men who are manly men, sometimes not being able to be fully where they want to be it's a useful human thing to depict in a show that's so much about human nature.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Catnip in chat is asking, what is Gandalf the White doing on the ship?
he's
I'm assuming that's the tapestry theme.
He's killing a philosophy tube.
And Catnip also appreciates the fact that clothing is appropriately aged and lived in, rather than it being like which we've always appreciated with Game of Thrones, the fact that the clothing looks, there's a level of realism where it's not crisp and ironed and beautifully like creamed, but it's also not the medieval dirt where there's like a smudge over someone's face. Like, and the fact that it's also like there's real color. I do appreciate with Game of Thrones, they're not afraid of proper color, which medieval like history is full of color, but because we always see things aged, you don't think that the past is in history. Like the classic thing about thinking about the 70s, everyone thinks of the 70s in sepia tone.
Yes, yeah.
Because that's how it's depicted and that's how our memories are formed. But the 70s, the 60s, and the 80s all had colour. The medieval times had bright, vibrant colour. And one of the other things is a lot of Roman statues were painted. We think of Roman statues being these, white porcelain colours. No, they were predominantly coloured in bright colours. So I do love that Game of Thrones is not afraid of depicting colour in a realistic way. Like none of it's like heavily saturated, like incredibly like jarringly bold colour, but they're not afraid of colour, and I do like it.
Yeah, it is good.
It is good. Series is good. I had a good time.
Although they also, I think it's a video that you showed me, demonstrated why things are coloured and styled the way they are. That's the one, yeah.
Yeah, because I do love.
Like if you think
once you've seen that video, you're like, all other fantasy shows don't know how to do costumes.
Yeah, it's one of the things I always enjoyed with Game of Thrones right up to the end, because it makes sense. Like obviously with King's Landing, you've got a lot of vibrant colours for a lot of people. It makes sense that the Valerians have like bright blue, or not bright, like substantially blue outfits, because they're on the sea, like they're going to be trading silks and stuff, like, or they're going to be like,
silks, or they could have algae or seaweeds that can produce those particular tints and dyes.
Yeah, they've got. I mean, they got the access to it. Like that makes they're probably quite a big, substantial trading port. They could. It's probably where their wealth comes from as a stepstone from Westeros to Essos.
Like it's one of the things that this is my second Resident Evil film reference this podcast. There is thing like in the later movies, I've watched the behind the scenes, and they have this pristine white ship set. I think it's on a ship where they go into this like stark white lab, and it's visually impressive. It's shot in 3D. And they had to repaint the set between scenes because every time someone walked on the floor, the pristine white set would become smudged or stained. So between every other take, they had to then repaint the set to keep the visual concept running. I find that preposterous, and I love the fact that this was so lived in. I feel like it means that once you put the effort into building these costumes and these sets, the actors can actually live in them. The actors can actually work in those costumes without worrying as much. And I really appreciate it. It's got tactility.
Yeah.
The effort. And no other show has come close. In particularly fantasy shows. I think Witcher's costumes were just Witcher and Wheel of Time are two examples of times where like you can enjoy a costume from one of those shows, but does it make sense? Absolutely fucking not.
No, they had these clothes all look really new, which from I don't know, they were witches, there was magic. I don't know. You hand wave it away.
Hand wave it away, but then you go back to Game of Thrones, the world of Song and Ice and Fire, and you go, oh, creepy.
Yeah, and the hairstyles as well, like when Daenerys was adding an extra braid for.
And I like the practicality of the things. Like one of the things I really appreciate, and this is going into race casting, is it's established relatively early on, obviously, within the Dothraki culture that you wear your hair in a long braid, and then eventually, if you fail yourself in battle, then you cut your hair. So, of course, Daenerys has plaited hair because that's the style of the Dothraki. And then later on, she has these more and more elaborate braids. But it's established that that's a sensible way of styling your hair for dragon riding. It's a way of having the long flowing, iconic Targaryen locks. In such a way that they're not going to get knotted, snarled, and tangled when you're in high wind scenarios. Like having heavily braided or plaited hair is a really useful way of styling your hair to work with dragon riding.
Yeah.
And it also works really well for seafaring and dragon riding if you have a different hair quality. So things like threads or braids or cornrows, that's a really good established hairstyle for people who are seafaring and dragon riding, and it totally makes sense.
Yeah.
You have more cultural hairstyle input to these characters who are doing these practical things. And it's one of those things that you can really appreciate in hindsight, the fact that they've chosen to add in a different variety of faces and characters and like diversifying the High Valyria survivors and making slightly more racially diverse choices in terms of casting. But you can also then bring in those racially diverse hair types and hairstylings that it's still functional for purpose. It still makes total sense why you would have threads or cornrows for riding dragons. It just makes sense to me. It's so logical. And it's like great ways of like building and deepening the lore through costume and hair, and I like it a lot. Good show is good. Good show is good. Dragon show is fun.
I gotta be honest, it's been a long time since I'm like super on tenterhooks next episode. Like how, because these two episodes have absolutely jumped the events and status of the show. Like it's like
as I said before starting this episode, I was dreading it because I was like, oh, it's all going to be doom and gloom, and this has had so many points of like breath within the episode that I'm so excited for next episode. I'm so genuinely excited to watch next episode. Like I'm looking forward to it. Unlike this week where I was dreading it, I was like, oh, it's so miserable. Oh no. This I'm like, yes, next episode.
Yeah, I mean I guess there were bits and pieces where it wasn't miserable. There was intrigue.
Exactly. There was some levity with Varys and Aegon. There was some like peaceful moments with White Worm and Daemon. There was some like genuine kindness in this episode with like Helena having her moment of like power, like, you know, stepping up to authority and having Orwell actually, you know, standing up for someone in a really effective way that like just meant that the rest of it flowed. It just I had a good time.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah, chef's kiss. I feel like I've talked way too much though. I feel so sorry for Max. I'm sorry.
Fine.
I get too excited.
No, it's good. I mean, we got a lot to say about it. That's why we do the thing.
I think. How long is this episode? How long are we going?
Well, the episode was what, like 1 hour 1 hour 4 minutes for me.
No, I mean the stream, like
the
this
stream
podcast.
So far.
How long is this podcast?
Oh, it's like 2.25 hours or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, we better wrap this up now because I've got work tomorrow.
Me too.
Yep. Not me, baby. 4th of July is on Saturday.
Oh,
yeah, tomorrow.
Oh, that's the thing.
That's the thing.
Is it going to be a particularly big one because isn't it like a important year for America or something?
It's 250 years since we kicked your asses.
Right, is that how you get taught it in history class? Interesting.
Yeah. Well, we're all gonna. Yeah, that's we have our own origin story, our own fire blood, if you will.
particular branch of the institution by which I work for turned 500 last year.
Oh, yeah.
It's offhand.
Well, just
Throwing that
twice
out.
the age of my country.
Yeah.
In all fairness, I do find it bizarre, and I'll give some credit to America. This is one of the most bizarre things that I will give you credit for. For the last 5-10 years, on the 4th of July in England, I hear fireworks.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
I
Which
didn't
is
know that. That's actually kind of
bizarre
crazy.
to me.
That is
is
bizarre.
absolutely bizarre,
Yeah.
but I'd say probably at least every other, if not most, 4th of July in the UK, someone runs off fireworks that I can hear within wherever I am. And this is including living in 3 different places over the last decade.
Some true patriot.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's an
Good
American
luck
or
to
something.
them.
Yeah.
I'm guessing so, but as I said, I've lived in like 3 different towns over the last decade, and it's happened every year. So either there's a lot of expatriates around the Oxfordshire area.
I mean, maybe in
the Berkshire
Oxfordshire,
area.
because you got your university town, so, you know.
Yeah, Oxfordshire and Berkshire, but I do find it bizarre. But
Yeah,
credit for patriotism, I guess.
I guess. Yeah. I live near Philadelphia, and so that's like that's the city. That's the original capital of the United States. So that is like a big deal here in particular.
I hope you have a good time.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna probably, maybe go in the pool, eat a hot dog or two. I'm not gonna go crazy.
No barbecue?
BB heard about the 4th of July and has decided to come.
Barbecue. I'd love to have some good barbecue, but it depends on if my stepbrother wants to run the smoker, do the smoker. When he does that, that's pretty good. So maybe I will have some barbecue. But the only thing I can guarantee for myself is a hot dog.
I'm sorry if you guys can hear Mimi. She's decided to come up and ask for dinner.
Oh, Mimi.
Oh, bless her.
It's like the 4th of July. I can have a hot dog. I can have hot dog. Do you hear that?
Mm-hmm. I think I might have.
I heard it.
Oh.
She just went, oh, she's a sweet bean.
Oh, bless her.
Anyway.
Right, thank you, everyone.
Enjoy 4th of July.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And enjoy rest of week.
Mm-hmm. And
good luck with Heatwave.
Shout out to Catnip Ninja, who's always good to see you.
Yeah.
And cool. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining us and all that. And I can't wait to see you next week. Toodaloo.
Yeah, I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Bye.
Toodaloo.